So even though that's how you put an STI GD rack into a GC chassis, I actually ran into some problems. In the clip right here, you can see that the output shaft on the steering rack is bent. So when you turn the wheel, it binds in certain spots and it steers easier in certain spots, which isn't ideal for driving, obviously. You'll make a turn and it sticks, so it's also unsafe. Another rack that I had bought, which is also a 13:1 ratio GD STI rack from a Spec C as well. The casting on the steering rack is cracked. Pretty sure everything else is solid. So if you're thinking what I'm thinking, I'm going to try to utilize this for parts. So obviously this is the rack that I showed you. And if you look here, unlike a lot of the other racks which have a flange with 2 bolts holding them on and a gasket, this is held on with this 4-hole flat bolt, I guess you want to call it. I don't know. But it was very hard for me to find the tool to actually take this off. The tool is called a face pin spanner. It's different than a pin spanner, and that took me forever to look up. But also, it took me about another hour just to find one that fits this. I measured the inside diameter of the holes, which are 4 millimeters, and the spacing between the 2 farthest holes in either direction is about 38 millimeters. I found one that would fit this perfect. It's not adjustable. I actually found one that's adjustable from Amazon, which I decided to try first, considering I would be able to return it. So right here is the adjustable face pin spanner with 4 millimeter pins. It holds pretty well, and then we're just gonna have to loosen it. Actually loosen this off camera just to make sure I can get it loose with these, and I was able to. I actually had to use a hammer, lay this on the side, and tap it almost like when you take off brake calipers. I'm gonna disassemble it now and see what parts I need besides the output shaft, just so I don't disassemble both and have my car off the road for too long. Let's start taking this apart. So it looks like there's a seal on the outside as well as on the inside. Next we'll have to take this hex bolt off as well as this larger one, and then this should come out the top. Whoa, pulled right out. Nice. Bearing sounds fine. The teeth on the shaft looked fine. That was honestly easier than I expected. I'll probably put this back together so that I don't lose any pieces, and then I could look up the parts on JP Parts Japan. I hope the audio wasn't bad this whole time. I just realized the mic wasn't fully plugged in. I'll voice over or something. But to give you a quick rundown of how everything is on the steering rack. Right here is a 14mm bolt with a lock washer or something. That's fairly easy to get out. Once you take this out, there is a spring right here, which then pushes up against this piece. I just grabbed it like this, pulled it right out. On this end, you see this is the 36mm bolt. I don't know if you could tell, some of these threads are lightly scuffed up because I didn't fully clean off that pinched part with the Dremel, but this would still be alright. Here, use the face pin spanner, give it a couple taps, comes loose, slides right off the top, boom. And then once this bolt is out and this guy's out, the shaft itself will pull straight out. So that's that. Then what you saw me do, but what you couldn't see was there's a washer right in here. Right, you see that? What I did was I tapped around the edges, the outer edge, with a flathead screwdriver, as well as the inner edge, which broke it loose. Once that's basically destroyed, the whole rack and pinion slide right out. And then on this end, which I haven't gotten to yet, pretty deep in there's another washer, like the one on the end of the gear itself. That I tap out with a 19mm and some extensions, which you'll see me do in a second. And then behind it, there's actually a plastic washer. I mean, it broke when I took it out, which is fine because it's getting replaced, but there's an O-ring here, this nylon ring, this plastic spacer, and then the other washer. So this is how the entire thing looks in the rack. You got a seal here, a spacer, an O-ring with a nylon O-ring here. You got this lock nut on the end. You got this nut and spring right in here. Then you have this lock nut and shaft right in here. So right now, what we got to do, once this is out, we have to get the seal out from this end. Here's the other seal, which is facing in like this. And if you look here, that plastic washer got destroyed again, but like I said, we are replacing it with a new one. Alright, so now we got to get this O-ring out in here. Alright, I'm going to clean it out, start reinstalling. For the JDM rack, this is one seal kit part number, and this is the other seal kit part number. Alright, so first things first. Alright, that one goes in here. Obviously, these are the big guys that go on the ends. We got two little O-rings for the actual lines that go into the rack. We have this O-ring which goes into the lock nut here, and then we got the plastic washer, Then we have this one, which I think goes in the cap. Yep, this one goes in the cap. So we shall take this one out as well, but we'll do that when we get there. I don't know why it doesn't make sense that they have two kits and you can't do one without the other, which is really dumb. But here's this nylon washer with the inner washer, all the 4 squared off washers that go around the shaft itself. I know I showed it once, but if I go like this, look at how much that wobbles. And then this one, smooth. Now we got to take these O-rings out. These are the part numbers. Before we assemble everything, we're going to throw some high temp red grease on here, so it has everything fresh, so we don't have to worry about it. Alright, all those are on. Now we can put this seal in. Just going to throw it on here. Alright, so the gears are this way, and this outer O-ring you see the back of, but it's not actually in too far past the threads. And then this O-ring, the back sits against the plastic washer. I read somewhere where they said this nylon one doesn't have to be replaced, but while we're here and everything's out, we probably should anyway. Out. Just fucking stabbed myself. Right, that's in. This one's replaced, those are replaced. So now we can put this guy in, throw some grease on it. Honestly, I don't know how much to put, so just gonna base it off of how much looked like it was in there prior. Now this O-ring, which now I know I have to put a good amount on the outside so that it doesn't stick, and we only put this one in like a 1/4 inch. Screwing this in should seat that as far as it needs to go. Throw some fresh grease on the inside of this. That's screwing in. Now this guy, we got to get the O-ring out. This was 17. And last but not least, the O-ring on this puppy. And then before I tighten this down, I'm going to throw some blue thread locker on here. And sorry for that humming in the background, there's a fan. There's no AC in here and it was 100+ degrees today. that should be good. And then I do not know the torque specs on this, but I'm just gonna tighten this to how it felt, where having done both of these in the same day, I have a pretty good feeling. I bent the shit out of this line. Ah! Fuck! I might have to take this one. I mean, this one's bent different, but still might work. Ay, ay, ay! I'm always fucking shit up. It also looked like they put something in between the lock washer and this, I guess to keep it seated, so I'm just going to put a dab of this in here. Just because alright, so that's tightened down to where it was. You don't want it too tight. I'm just making sure that line is still where it should be, and we're done. Just got to throw on the tie rods, which is fairly simple. Alright, so the rack is fully rebuilt. We just got to put these clips on the boots, and it goes back on the car. So I hope this helped. I got a lot of my information from another YouTube channel, Ready Set Drift, I think, something like that. But it was for an S14 steering rack, and everything was very, very similar, besides little things here and there. But the rack assembly and disassembly was identical to an S14 steering rack. So yeah, I hope this helped anybody who wants to do this. I was intimidated at first, but it was much easier than I expected. So if you enjoyed this and it was helpful, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Do whatever you gotta do. Let me know if it was helpful or not in the comments. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace. I don't see any leaks. Oh. I'm still nervous. Looks dry. Steering rack's kind of tight. Nothing from either end. So that's a good sign. The steering is actually a little tight right now. Like you could even see, oh, now I fucking locked it. See, like it binds right there. Tight. So I wonder if I just over tightened the adjustment pin on it, or adjustment bolt, whatever you want to call it. But as long as it's not leaking, that makes me happy, because I don't have to completely disassemble it. Only thing I might have to do is adjust this guy right here, I believe. But yeah, so I could probably put the boots on, connect it to the hubs, but I'm just gonna look up why it would be stiff, but I'm assuming it's this guy. But no leaks, finally. You have no idea how nervous I was. But yeah.